Andrew Cuomo is back in the headlines again after the Supreme Court has overruled his mandates to put an attendance cap on synagogues and places of worship. It says here, Supreme Court rules against Cuomo's coronavirus limits, with Barrett playing a key role. The U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday night blocked New York Governor Andrew Cuomo from reimposing strict attendance caps at worship services in areas hit hard by the novel coronavirus. So if you haven't heard yet, Andrew Cuomo put down different stipulations for these red areas, as he called them, and some of the stipulations required places of worship, synagogues and whatnot, to have an attendance cap of around 25% capacity, or 10 people, whichever is fewer. That is actually the words of it, whichever is fewer. So I would love to hear how you determine who is allowed to worship God and who isn't. Sort of something that's a little bit trivial, allowing people to worship the God that they believe in. And this is coming from someone who isn't necessarily involved in the whole religious cycle. I don't find myself believing in that stuff. However, I definitely respect those who do. And that doesn't seem to be the case with Democratic officials. If there were one sanctitude of life that I believe someone should be entitled to, it would be to be able to believe in whatever you would like, to worship whatever you would like. You could worship a goddamn Domino's pizza sitting on the table from a week ago if you want to, because that's what you want to believe in. As long as it is not a belief that requires you to do something heinous to others, who are you to determine whether someone should be allowed to attend that or not? Within the First Amendment of the Constitution, it states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press. Obviously stating that you may not make stipulations that decline one from attending a synagogue, anything of the sort. With coronavirus out there, I understand that there are businesses that may not be able to run at full capacity if they are worried of what may come of that, of the danger and the risk to those who participate in going there. However, I guarantee that the people who attend synagogues or churches, anything of that sort, I mean, they're out there to talk to God. They go there to worship God. Dying to coronavirus compared to being able to relieve yourself of sin or essentially reinvigorate your life, give yourself a new meaning, a new purpose, that outweighs the risk of coronavirus by a fair margin. Honestly, a lot of these people, if they die, they believe in a higher power that they will go to based on their religion. So dying of a novel virus, as Fox News has claimed it to be, that sort of outweighs the risk there. The fact that it is the First Amendment, the very first one that our founding fathers had come up with, clearly describes exactly how important it is for people to be able to express themselves. It also states, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a readdress of grievances, which is sort of similar to what has actually happened because of Andrew Cuomo's statement of the red zones, which primarily target areas where synagogues and churches participate, where they're actually located at. Because of these declarations of 25% capacity or 10 people maximum, it would literally bar people from being able to express their own religious beliefs, which is something that I find, as someone who's not, as I said, not even religious, I find that just to be immoral. No one should have the right to take away that from you. I honestly, in my personal opinion, if the Black Plague were going around and these people would prefer to gather in synagogues and chapels until the day that they died, hey, more power to you. Respect. I don't believe in that stuff, but I can certainly respect where people are coming from. Some people need a higher belief to actually to reconcile with the shittiness of life. Let's put it that way. And I would never imagine taking that away from someone as Andrew Cuomo has done, or at least tried to do until he was shut down. And let me add, very saltily. He didn't take it the best. It says here on the New York Daily News, of prayers and plagues, what the Supreme Court got wrong about Governor Cuomo's COVID restrictions. Yes, they got it wrong. And who are you to say what the Supreme Court had gotten wrong? Says, the unsigned opinion by the nation's highest court got it wrong, insisting that restrictions placed on religious gatherings imposed by Governor Cuomo in New York's COVID hotspots must be nullified, for they violate the First Amendment, which, as we had seen prior, is exactly what they do. I don't understand the argument that they don't violate that, because it is clear as day. It is clear as anything else that they say. Only 10 people maximum capacity can worship their God? What? What are the dozens of other people supposed to do? Well, I didn't get in today. I'm sorry, Jesus, I'll be back next week. That's not a solution to the problem. I understand that COVID may be something that people are worried about, but look, in this picture that they place right here, they're all wearing masks. Granted, the one guy does have it below his nose, but they're Jewish, sometimes it's hard to get the old schnozzle in there. Sorry, that was kind of a joke, but still, kind of funny, I hope. But as you can see, they're following guidelines. It's like, I personally wouldn't care if they were crammed in there shoulder to shoulder. It's their own belief, man. You gotta let people do as they would please. If there's a risk involved in what they do, that's their lifestyle choice. You can't smack a cigarette out of someone's hand just because they're smoking it. It doesn't make any sense. You don't control their lifestyle. Why would you try to? Because they want power. The Democratic Party is about power. They don't care about you. They see you as a pawn in the game that they're playing. They see you as a pawn even though they're playing checkers because they are that dumb. It says, next, The Descent by the Bronx. Sonia Sotomayor. I think that was right, Sotomayor. Got it right. The rules capping gathering. Also, she was put into office by Barack Obama, Democrat, if you didn't know that. The rules capping gatherings at 10 people or less are actually more generous for faith-based institutions than any other type. Well, they don't need to be more generous to them. They should actually not even affect them. If you read the Constitution, which I just read a short little clip there, literally says that you are not allowed to make these different mandates and stipulations that affect people who would like to practice their religious beliefs. You are not allowed to, Cuomo. I'm sorry, you can't. Actually, I'm not sorry, you can't. New York treats houses of worship far more favorably than their secular comparators. How on earth can that be an offense to the guaranteed freedom to exercise religion? The majority has no answer. Well, I'm not sure if I'm the majority here, but I can give you an answer. It is right here in the First Amendment that our founding fathers wrote. I love how the Constitution means nothing to these people because they don't care about America. The next paragraph says, nor do they have a compelling reply to Chief Justice John Roberts' dissent, which points out that since churches and synagogues filed their challenges to New York's rules, the ground shifted. None of the houses of worship identified in the applications is now subjected to any fixed numerical restrictions. The governor might reinstate the restrictions, but he also might not. And it is a significant matter to override determinations made by public health officials concerning what is necessary for public safety in the midst of a deadly pandemic, the coronavirus back again. I just find it so funny. If there were one sanctitude in life, I would find it to be, as I said, not religious, but I would find it to be allowing people to practice their religion. I mean, in their minds, you have to be empathetical with this stuff. Imagine they are practicing religion to their God. They're one person who created everything, created them, created the world that we inhabit, created America. and yet they are being shut out from being able to worship and communicate and relieve themselves of sin from their God. It just doesn't compute with me how that is possible, unless it is mandated by someone who themselves is not religious, not empathetical, and finds it to be essentially a cult following, you know. Oh, religious, that's something for the rabble. Us higher-ups, we have no need for that, for I have all the power in the world. I am God. That's the only way I could see it a possibility to mandate something such as this. And within the next article, we have coronavirus news. Governor Andrew Cuomo calls Supreme Court ruling against New York COVID restrictions on houses of worship irrelevant. It reminds me of like a Jake Paul parody or something. That sounds like Jake Paul trying to roast someone else. You're irrelevant. That statement is irrelevant. The Supreme Court ruling irrelevant. I'll find another way around it. It's just like little babies in power who, oh, you try and shut me down? Okay. It doesn't make sense how these people got elected, honestly. This article states, the decision isn't final in the first place, Cuomo said. It goes back to the Second Circuit Appeals Court, so it's not even a final legal decision. Instead, he said the court's conservative majority took the opportunity to make an ideological point. Yes, an ideological point to allow people to practice their worships, which are, bada bing, back First Amendment, right here. These people imagine that they can interpret the laws however they want. They have all the power. They're power hungry. That's all that they want, is to be able to tell you what to do. And they don't care about how it affects themselves because they got the power, baby. They can do what they want. Cuomo states once again, the lawsuit was about the Brooklyn zone. The Brooklyn zone no longer exists as a red zone. That's mooted, so the restriction is not in effect. That's why the whole case was a moot. Quit using that word, Cuomo. That's what was irregular about the Supreme Court taking it up, because this situation presented no longer exists, because we changed the zone designations last week, or the week before. I can't remember. I made the regulations. I can't remember those. A lot of things happen, different things, different lives. So the situation doesn't exist because those restrictions are gone. It's kind of as if he saw. It's kind of as if he knew, he had the foresight. Somehow he had his third eye open, his brain working at 150% capacity, 5 brain cells working at a time. And he realized, oh, I'm going to lose this. It's no longer a red zone. Let's just drop these stipulations. What? The Supreme Court's against me? Everyone help. I'm Andrew Cuomo. What can I do? Everyone's against me. The Supreme Court, the conservatives, overtaking everything. It's clearly just a sort of propagandist measure to make sure that he cannot be called out for that of which he has done. Cuomo, if somehow you watch this, there's just one message I want you to receive. Someone as shitty of a person as you does not ever deserve to be able to tell someone else what they can and can't do in their home, especially with religious practice. I'm sure that there are a lot of things within the eyes of the Lord that would get you sent to a bad place. And I really, truly hope that you resign or something is done with what you have created, because it is just a mess. You do not deserve that position of power. You are too power hungry. You do not belong there. And that'll be it for this episode. I just felt like talking about this. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.